You.
Okay. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, the Finance Committee meeting for the Gary Common Council for Tuesday, March, 17th, is now called to order. There are 3 items on the agenda this evening. CPO 2021-14, which is an ordinance revising the Healthy Families budgets for the calendar year of 2021. CPO 2021-15, which is an ordinance revising the FEF grant budget for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2020 and ending June 30th, 2021. And CPO 2021-20, an ordinance authorizing a transfer of funds within Fund 101, Department 604. Okay, so present this evening is Councilwoman Linda Barnes Caldwell, Councilman Ty Atkins, our Council President, William Godwin, our Councilman at Large, Ron Brewer, our Council Attorney, Renza Williams, our Councilman at Large, Mike Brown. I think I got everybody. Did I get everybody?
Williams District.
Councilman Dwight Williams. I think I got everyone, and we're ready to start. So we can start with CPO 2021-14, and we'll start with Ms. Colvin.
Madam President, I would ask that you also allow Veronica Collins, who is an attendee. I don't know if she can speak, but can she be promoted? Because these are her 2 ordinances.
We're looking to pull her in now.
Okay.
She's here now?
Yes.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
Hi.
Aye. We have before the committee ordinance number 2021-14, which is an ordinance revising the Healthy Families budget for the calendar year 2021. And Veronica Collins, who is the director of the Health Department, will speak to this budget.
So we're revising, hello, everyone. We're revising the Healthy Families budget. We end up getting 2 donations. Well, 1 donation for $50,000, $25,000 was for immunizations for the COVID, the vaccines, and then $25,000 was for the Warman Center from the Legacy Foundation. So we're asking to the donations to be put in so we can put them in a different line item so we'll be able to pay our contractors and also some supplies for the vaccines.
You're muted, Madam Chairwoman.
Anybody have any comments or questions?
Madam Chair.
Yes.
I just have a question. Ms. Arlene, I'm sorry, Attorney Colvin, I might be looking at the wrong information. Did you send us updated 2021-14? Is this the one that you sent updated attachments to?
No. Well,
No.
You mean before today?
Yes. If not, could you walk me through the attachments that's accompanying this ordinance? Because I think that one of them is like just a blank salary sheet.
And that will be because they're not paying salary.
I'm sorry. Okay, so this shouldn't have been included, right? You see what I'm saying?
Yes, I do.
All right, and then the second one is this is just the operating one, right?
Mhm.
Right.
Okay. And then the last one is the actual fund that we're talking about, right?
It should be the revenue source.
Got it. I see it. And then they got the 50,000 in the proposed revenue for 2021.
Right.
Okay. Okay. Line item donations. I gotcha.
Okay.
So let's remove this first sheet. Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments from any other council members? Okay. If there are no other questions or comments from any other council members, we will move on to CPO 2021-15, which is an ordinance revising the FEF grant budget. Okay. Ms.
Madam
Colvin,
Chairperson, the ordinance revises the Public Health Emergency Preparedness Grant budget. And again, Ms. Collins will speak to this budget as well.
Okay, so we're just asking for our supplies to be moved to the advertisement line item. So we will be able to purchase billboards. Any questions?
Yes, if I may,
then-
Madam Chair,
yes,
I'm just curious, do we get what is the per billboard cost we're expecting?
Did, give me 1 second, I'll be able to tell you that. My apologies, give me 1 second.
I think it was 15? 2021-15, right?
It is 15.
Mhm.
So wait a minute. 15 is,
Yeah,
PHEB.
Public Health Emergency Preparedness budget.
right.
so you're revising the grant budget to be able to buy billboards?
Say that for me one more time. My apologies.
Did you say that this particular ordinance 2021-15 that's related to this grant funding is revised to be able to use the funds to pay for billboards?
Well, we have money in supplies and we're not using the rest of the supplies. So we're just moving it to a line item. So we can, for advertisement, for the advertisement.
So Veronica, can you tell them what you're using the advertisement? What are you going to be advertising?
Oh, just the emergency preparedness, letting people know that they can contact our emergency coordinator for the warming centers, for anything in regards to the emergencies. What else? Our different pods that we have for when we have to set up medication. That we just putting the information out there for the public so they can know who to contact when they need these assistance.
So I guess what's the specific dollar amount that is changing?
I'm looking right now.
Do we need to advertise for warming centers in March?
Well, yeah, for coolant and warming centers, because we still have coolant. So we do coolant and warming, and both of those are considered emergencies.
Okay, are we advertising for COVID, the homebound? You know, that's a real important issue right now. I spoke with the person that works with you and
Brandy.
I think she said, yes, Brandy. She says that link, you know, if they go through the
Porter.
FSS or something, yeah. And I couldn't, you know, I didn't know how to get there so that I could share it with the other homebound people that really need. So that
Okay, I can
advertising. then
Okay, so let me, I just want to, excuse me, Council, Caldwell, can I give, Council, Godwin that, dollar amount, 1840?
So $1,840 is what we're changing?
Correct.
And can you help me read this? So where, I'm looking at these budget sheets.
Yeah.
It's not,
So where on this sheet is that change reflected?
Well,
Oh, I see advertising, line 332.
correct.
So 1840, so basically we're,
You know, we had that left over. Let me find that.
You know what, Councilman Godwin? This sheet needs to be corrected because that should be zeroed out and moved up to supplies.
Oh, you
Okay.
see it.
And this came out, I'm not, well,
Okay. May I ask a question just to make sure that I follow what the request is?
Sure.
Okay. So Fund 258, Department 2580 is the fund that is specific to the PHEP grant. So all funding related to this grant goes into this fund. So
Correct.
so the first spreadsheet that was attached to the ordinance is irrelevant. And so within here, you're saying that the advertising line item had 1840, and you want to move that from line 332 to other materials or office or services? Or
Is the opposite. The other materials should have been moved into the advertisement.
I got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
so
that's not reflected.
Other materials. Okay. So okay. And then the number and the ending number is incorrect too on line 291.
291. Yes.
So it should have been a decrease. So you should have negative 1840 in
Instead
the
of the
last
30.
column. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yes, correct.
Yep.
We'll correct it, Councilwoman.
Yeah, we'll make sure it's corrected.
All council members follow that?
Mm-hmm.
So basically, we're saying that the council approved $7,000 for other materials. You're taking 1840 from other materials, which would make that 5160
Mm-hmm.
for the revised. And then
Mhm,
you're adding 1840 under advertising.
correct.
Okay. I will just make a general suggestion that and this is for everybody, it might be helpful in the ordinance language itself
Mm-hmm.
that it's more specific about, I know we talk about what we're doing,
Mm-hmm.
but exactly what the use is. And so maybe there's a way to say, we make these things very general. There's a way to say,
Mhm.
this request is to do billboards to advertise. And monies are moving from,
This line item.
yeah,
Mhm.
to this line item. So that it's kind of spelled out, because if you were to look at this 2 years from now, a year from now,
Mhm.
maybe even 6 months, because we have so many of these, no one would necessarily know what the reasoning was, unless they were to go back, I guess, and listen to the committee meeting.
Okay.
Mhm.
But just, I think that would be helpful for anytime we're moving monies.
Mhm.
I will make what happens in this. One of the things that needs to happen too, some of that language needs to come out of finance, and the law department prepares the ordinances, so they're sometimes don't understand exactly what is happening from a transfer of funds point of view,
Mhm.
line item point of view. So I'll make sure that's included.
Great, thank you.
Madam Chair,
yes.
Attorney Colvin, when you send us the update to, just remove the salary budget,
Okay.
sheet too. Thank you.
Okay.
And can I answer, Councilwoman Caldwell a question?
Yes, please.
Okay, so the portal, the Indiana State Department of Health, not Indiana State Department of Health, FSSA, they put all the information in. They get contacted by the state, and they are asking for someone to come out to the home to give them that. So that's what that portal, we cannot put any information in. But if you have people that's meet the criteria of the homebound,
Yeah.
and then we can put them down on the list by
Okay.
calling the health department. But we can't put in any information in the portal by ourselves. They do it from the state level.
Okay, so they can call you all and you all can help them access the FSSA?
No,
Website?
they don't even have to contact the FSSA. They can contact us. And if
Okay.
they meet the criteria for the homebound, because most of the time we had someone call today saying that their foot is swollen, so they need someone to come to them to do the vaccines. That's not the criteria for homebound. People that's seriously ill that can't get out, then we can go out to them. Yes.
Okay. What's your telephone number?
I can give you 219-882-5565.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, no problem. Actually, can I give you a different number? Because that's like the COVID number. I can give you the COVID number in regards to
Okay.
all the COVID cases.
Okay.
Give me 1 second. Let me give that to you. That number is 219-318-0675.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. No problem.
Any other questions or comments? Is that it? Okay. All right, and Arlene, you'll send us those changes, right?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
All right, CPO 2021-20. An ordinance authorizing a transfer of funds within Fund 101.
Councilwoman Brown, this is an ordinance authorizing a transfer in the IT department. We're transferring dollars from 19,000, well, it's two different accounts, $19,000 and $41,000 are being transferred to the account that will end up being used for account upgrades and supply equipment upgrades. I don't know if Michael Ofori is on here or not, but he can speak to the improvements that the IT department wants to make. I don't see him though.
Does this have anything to do with the new person that they have?
No, this is equipment.
Okay,
This is for the purchase of equipment. So they want to purchase storage to upgrade their servers, MDM, which is mobile device management, to better manage all city devices. They want to upgrade their city camera system, and they want to provide upgrades so that RDS, which is our financial system, can support ADP, which is the new time attendance program that we'll be using. So all of this is for equipment upgrades for the IT department.
okay. Any questions, anybody?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I just have a question just to make sure that I'm understanding. So Attorney Colvin, this is just, what's the difference between this particular request versus when we do, trying to think how to say it, possibly like a request to change, wait, let me say it this way. When we did the operating budget for the IT department, right? We had a line item that was that like equipment or other
Right.
materials, right? So we budgeted for that and there was a certain amount. So was that budget, they could spend the amount up until that max in that budget, right?
Yes.
And so this is, what is the difference between what I'm looking at and then what we approved during the budget season? Make sense?
And generally, in any transfer of funds situation, expenditures may exceed whatever the line item is that you're transferring money to.
Okay.
In this particular case, they allocated a certain amount of money, but since the time of the budget, which was prepared back in September of 2020, we have, either encountered a need for something additional, and this is, I'm making a general statement now. You've either encountered a need for something additional, or maybe there's some new system or some new endeavor that the city may have decided to engage in that will require them to increase that particular line item so that a purchase can be made. So in this particular case, there's a need to upgrade, which we would not have been able, which we would not have known until we actually started to participate in the ADP upgrade. There's a need to upgrade to make that compatible. They also, I think we've had a few donations of camera systems that individuals have given to us, and we too have decided that we're going to actually place cameras out at various surveillance sites. So there's some accommodation that needs to be made in order to, be able to look at that surveillance equipment. So those kind of things, these are kind of unanticipated things that you may not have actually budgeted for or thought about at the time you were going to do your budget back in 2020.
So this is a request to kind of make up the deficit.
Pardon me?
This is a request to add additional funds to be able to do all of those project needs,
What
right?
you're doing is moving money from one line item that has money to another one.
Got it. So where it says account, and then the first, it says account 4410, and then transfer to the first line is account. It starts with 42910. What are those referencing?
Okay. 42910, and I wish I had my budget sheet. Let me see if I can. And I don't want to hold you up. Okay. He's transferring from 44410.
Yeah, 44410.
Yes, and that is, and I think trying to read this. $43610 is contractual, I'm sorry. Okay. Repairs to equipment.
So 44410. So where it says account, it actually refers to a specific line item.
Yes.
And that line item is what?
And this, well, now that I'm looking at this, Councilwoman,
Yes, ma'am.
I think he has this reversed. I think this should be transferred from and transferred to.
So it should be
So the
transferred.
top one is transferred to, and the
So
bottom was transferred from.
got it. So it should be transferred from 42910
Yes.
and going to 44410. And so what's the line item for those two?
I'm sorry, I have to be stuck because he has two different things. He has, it's being transferred from 44410, and he's transferring $41,000 into that account. And then he's also transferring $19,000 into that account. So for a total of $60,000. He's taking that money from 43610 and 42910 for a total of $60,000 total.
Okay. So it is, the top is the 2, the bottom is the 4.
Yes.
Okay. And what do the line items? So I know the top.
The 42910 is a supply line item.
Okay.
And the 43610 is a contractual maintenance line item.
Okay.
And these are being transferred to equipment.
Okay. So
and I'll make these corrections too. I'm sorry.
Thank you. No problem. So I have I guess they 2 comments.
Okay.
Well, a comment and a question. So the way that it's listed on this ordinance, one thing that I would just like for us to do is try to have consistency, right? And so the way that this was formatted is totally different than how our usual ordinances come when there's a transfer request. You know how usually we'll say like the actual line item. You'll say like moving from the equipment line item to, well, I'm doing it the wrong way too, moving from supplies and contractual maintenance to the equipment line item.
Yeah, I think another ordinance that we have coming up, it
It's
speaks
the same way.
about. It might be similar to what you're asking for.
Yes, ma'am. And then this one did not have the, that would be the operational budget attached to it. I guess as an exhibit.
Oh, and that's the thing too, Councilwoman. Usually on the transfer ordinances, it does not usually have a budget attached because the actual transfer itself is internal to the RDS system. It's not usually something that we have an attachment to because it's difficult to show. Now, if you want me to do that, I will, but that's not typically how transfer ordinances are done.
I would request it because I think it would be hard for the council to even, to understand, hey, you approved this total last year and this is why we're asking for it. So it kind of speaks the same language, if that makes sense.
I will make sure you get the sheet.
Thank you, Attorney Colvin.
Okay.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
just a couple questions. So we're saying, what specific type of equipment are we talking about here?
Stores to upgrade the servers,
Okay,
mobile device management services, and upgrading city camera system and RDS support to ADP.
okay. And may I ask, so we said, if you have it somewhere, is there like a document that has, I guess, so we have we have several account numbers out of the general fund, right?
You mean in this ordinance?
Just in general?
Yes.
Okay, but it's all coming out of one pot of money, right? I mean, there's several bank accounts, and then
Are you asking about the budget or are you asking about bank accounts?
well, so when we say account 42910
our budget accounts,
okay,
not our bank accounts.
so you're saying that this account ties back to a particular line item in the budget or several
Yes.
line items?
Yes.
It only ties to one line item.
In this case, it ties to several.
Okay. Is there anywhere where there's like a chart where it says for this account number, these are all the budgetary line items?
Yes. There
Just
is.
for reference? Okay. And I would just say the same thing I said about the previous one. If we could, in the actual text of the ordinance, be more specific about the use of the funds.
Okay.
And I would even say, and that even in the title of the ordinance, it might be helpful to say, even if you mention transfer of funds within Fund 101 for purchase of IT equipment,
Okay.
right? So that people will know in the future what it is or what it was.
Okay. I can do that.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Anyone else? Okay. Okay. There are no further questions. No further questions or comments. The Finance Committee meeting
Madam,
is.
I have one.
Oh, Attorney Lay.
I
Hi.
can't get on the computer. I don't even understand this phone. Now, the next meeting, and I apologize for missing meetings, 'cause I'm trying to get on. The next meeting is what, at 7 o'clock?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Well, we're gonna have a half-hour delay before we go to the next meeting, is that right?
Correct.
Okay, that's, I just want to make sure.
I wanted to, if I may, Madam Chair, I know that one of the things we said when we passed I'm getting feedback, I think, because other people are not muted. But one of the things that we said when we were passing the ordinance related to getting the monthly updates, which I believe you sent one last week,
Mhm.
a monthly financial update, and thank you for that. But I wanted to give you the opportunity to note any highlights or things that you believe the council should pay special attention to, but also if any council members had questions about the financial update that was provided. I want to make sure we start regularly doing that because if the update is just sent to us and nothing ever happens with it, then and this is the right place, I believe, to have that discussion. So was there anything, Attorney Coleman, that you think is of note?
The February report that we just sent you really should give you just a better idea, since the January report contains a lot of reconciliations. You should have a better idea about where the accounts actually stand as of the end of the year, because we've gone through a month of reconciliation already. I think you'll note that well, you may not have understood from the previous years, but I think we're kind of on the right path. We are on the right path for getting our accounts straightened out. Right now, we're looking at how we can downsize the number of actual bank accounts, not accounts, budget accounts, but actual bank accounts that we have too many. It's unwieldy. So we're looking at that. That's one of the things that I want to point out. And I also want to let you know that probably in the next 30 days or so, we'll be bringing to the council an ordinance that will help us to reconcile our bank accounts and give us a better idea about where we truly stand financially. And once that ordinance is actually passed and we make those adjustments, I think we'll be very close to having a clear financial picture about where our indebtedness lies with the city, where we
Thank
actually
you.
stand.
And I wanted to just follow up on two things I know we had talked about earlier this year, were the dollars coming from the casino.
Right.
And it probably is in here somewhere. It's a lot of documents. It's in there. We did all of the $6 million, I think that's the correct number, that was due to us in 2020. We have received all of that.
And I think my answer is going to be what it was before, which is a little confusing. We receive $6 million per year, and we did receive $6 million last year by December 31st. But I think that, as I pointed out in my report last year, the beginning of 2020 contained monies that were trued up from 2019. So each year we always receive we always receive the allocation that we actually are due, but they are not always monies that are actually paid into the account in that particular year, if you see what I'm saying.
Right. So I guess what I would say is we're now approaching the second quarter of 2021. So did we receive the balance of funds due for 2020 between January 1 of this year and today? So have they to present covered everything that was due, not including what they paid us last January for 2019?
Yes. In this case, they were going to, in order for us to true up, as they say, we were due about $500,000. They paid that.
Okay. So now the way, and help me understand this, the way we're supposed to be getting paid is on a monthly basis, or as long as they pay it, it's a monthly basis, right?
We get wager and taxes on a monthly basis, and we get money from them directly as well for the LDA.
Okay. So have they paid anything toward 2021's obligations yet?
Yes.
Okay. And just one other question. I know you and I talked about the utilities and the payment of utilities at the Genesis Center. And I believe from the letter I got that as of between January 28th, 2021 and March 7th or 8th of 2021, the city was footing the bill for the NIPSCO for Acumen Industries Corp., which is the legal owner of the property. One of the things I wanted to make sure was done is that we were reimbursed for any dollars that we paid toward their utility bill. And so have we been reimbursed? And if not, what is our plan to be reimbursed?
We have not been reimbursed yet. That, as I understand it, the discussions or negotiations, that whole transaction is still ongoing. As soon as I have information for you in that regard, I can give it to you. I don't have it today.
Okay, but just for record, it is out of the city's name
It is out of the city's name.
in terms of the utilities at this
Yes.
point. Okay. I will follow up on that because I know that they were also making claims that the city had been overcharged by NIPSCO and all these things in their letter. And I don't know the veracity of that at all. But I know that was part of their letter that they sent acknowledging that they would take the utility payment. So, but thank you.
Mhm.
And there may be others who have questions in terms
Thank
of.
you. Any other questions or comments? Okay, if there are no further questions or comments on 2021-20, that ends the ordinances that were on the agenda for tonight's Finance Committee meeting.